the MTN8 storms into the semi-finals, and there's plenty to talk about in that regard. The Premier League out in England is also up and running. We've got both Jerry Skosana and Shane McGregor to help break it all down. Hello, Mzansi. I am Shizu Mapena saying welcome to GameON. As we start off with what's happening out in England, and Shane McGregor, of course, joining me. Shane, good to be in your company. Let's talk about it. We discussed Ipswich and some of the sides that are coming in from the lower division, and of course, Ipswich up against Liverpool at home in the opening game would have been tough, but 2-0 was the scoreline, comfortable for Liverpool. And the question I've got for you is, how much of an impact can we expect Mo Salah to continue to have at Liverpool?
Good question, and always good to be here.
Yeah.
But yeah, very good question. That he seems to be firing. It's amazing that for the last 9 seasons he scored in the opening game. I mean, that must be a record of note, But
9 seasons.
9 seasons is a lot.
Cheap.
But anyway,
yeah.
It's a good start for Liverpool. They struggled a bit at times, but then found their feet, got going. I think most of the sides were like that.
Yeah.
But, Ipswich, it's going to be a long season.
Yeah.
They didn't look bad, I have to admit. And the one saving grace is there's a lot of other teams that are going to be in trouble this year. So they might just survive if they're lucky.
Well, Liverpool getting off to a good 2-0 clean sheet as well is a good start. The same can be said for Arsenal, same scoreline against Wolves, whom we've got question marks against this season, yeah?
Yeah, that's one of the teams I think are going to struggle. Though they gave as good as they got early on in the game, they seem to falter. I think they're going to struggle this year. They're going to be in the bottom half. They definitely won't be up in the top half unless they bring a few players in. But Arsenal, what can we say? And they've been bringing in more players.
Yeah.
I said earlier on, they got to be one of the title contenders. I'm still going to say this. They're going to win it this year.
Now, I have to ask you, the one game you and I have been talking about, the two teams we're excited to see, especially with their signings and their movements over the last couple of years, West Ham and Aston Villa. West Ham at home to Aston Villa. Aston Villa with an impressive 2-1 win. I think it's safe to say impressive 2-1 win here.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with that. West Ham, I've also bought wisely.
Sure.
It was never going to be an easy game. Villa, I must be honest, I'm looking forward to watching them play this year. They excite me. I love the way they play. It's going to be a very good season for them. They're going to be up there. They're going to be up in their top 6, definitely, for the season.
Certainly up there. Manchester City away to Chelsea. That was the game of the weekend in many people's books. Chelsea not quite up to the start they were hoping for.
No, not quite start. Haven't quite gelled yet. They've brought in a lot of players, but Man City, back to business. Normal. We're going to be seeing them up there and up and about. I do feel they can end up second. I'm making the prediction.
Sure, early. First week.
City second.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay, cool. We'll remember this in the last week, yeah?
Remember.
Oh, good. But for City to be able to keep a clean sheet against Chelsea away from home, what is that? Talk to me about the balance here in offense and defense.
But that's them. They defend as a team, they attack as a team, and they've had that game forward for a long time. They've got the best midfielder in the world, best defensive midfield, Rodri. They've got a few other players that can do the job. No, they're back to normal, looking good again.
Side we have yet to talk about. Got off to a 1-0 win a couple of Friday before the weekend's actually got underway. Manchester United currently on against Brighton in an away game for them. What are you expecting from Manchester United this season? What have you thought of their side? What have your thoughts been of their signings as well?
Also brought in a nice bunch of players. When they brought him on, he got a goal zerky. I'm not convinced about Man United again this season. I really am not convinced. I thought they would be a lot better than what they were. Still early because I got to gel those players in. But for me, my worry is their backline. So once again, I said this last season, I'm saying it again, it's still a worry. The jury's out for me about them.
There's the cliche when it rains, it pours. For Ipswich to start off the season against Liverpool, second game of the season against Manchester City in Manchester.
Rather get them out the way.
Really?
Rather get them out the way. No, that's my point of view. You look at those games as a manager, you say, well, what chance have I got of getting points? No chance. Let's get them out the way and let's start our season after that.
Sure.
And that's what it's going to be. Look, they'll try and obviously get a result, but I can't see anything. City will win. 6:30 this evening, something to look forward to for you and I. Aston Villa against Arsenal. Now, that's a game that could tell us a lot about how much Aston Villa have improved from last season. And my, did they not improve from the season before that? Yeah. And also where Arsenal are at, their quest to finish top. Game of the weekend.
Early in the season, though. Yeah.
Game of the weekend, and very early in the season. It's a difficult one to call because I like Arsenal and I'm rating them, but I also like Aston Villa and I like the way they play. If anything, I'm leaning slightly towards Arsenal, but if you can't count for a draw in this one.
Yeah. Now, Liverpool at home to Brentford. What are you still looking to see from Liverpool? And what you've seen, we haven't seen too much to be able to draw judgment on any of the sides. Still early days as yet. But what are you still looking to see as an improvement to think maybe Liverpool will be thereabouts in the running at the end of the season?
Well, what I saw briefly in this game was the way they're playing. They're changing around a bit. You know, they're not just holding on to the ball. They're getting forward a bit more quicker. So that's important for Liverpool. I do think it's going to take a little bit of time, but they will be there. I mean, they will be up in that top half, and well, not top half, in the top 4, fighting for the title. It's just going to take time for Slot to get his system into place.
Chelsea away to Wolves. I have to ask you the same question about Chelsea. A lot always expected of them. They spend so much money. What are your thoughts on them?
I think Chelsea will win this one against Wolves, only because Wolves are struggling. I do feel that Chelsea, you know, they came up against City. It's a difficult tie to go straight into. They hadn't had a lot of time to work with the players. So for me, this one, I think I would be leaning towards Chelsea against Wolves. Difficult one as well. You know, once again, Chelsea need to improve, as do Spurs.
Spurs need to improve, Chelsea need to improve. Some sides have hit the ground running in the start of the Premier League out in England. Stay with GameON. On the other side of this, we bring things locally with Jairus Kosana talking all things MTN8.
Check these guys. Let's show them how it's done. I see it. Let's have a
your feet like this.
Let's see how you play.
Your feet like this.
Welcome back to GameON, and as we promised, time to bring things locally in what's happening in the MTN8, which has stormed into the semi-finals, and plenty to talk about in that regard, of course, with Jairus Kosana sitting alongside me. Great to be in your company, Jelani, but there's something we haven't touched on as yet, in as far as these two teams. Is Stellenbosch now being in the CAF competitions and having to travel and still play against Sundowns over 2 legs. And Sundowns, for once, being the one team in Lexayo, while Stellenbosch does the traveling and has to balance things out locally and abroad.
Thanks, Caesar. I think for me, you look at both teams in terms of the game that they will be playing together in the MTN8. So if you look at Sundowns as the first leg hosting the game, they've got a little bit of advantage because they had a lot of rest.
Yeah.
And now you've got Stelis who are involved in the CAF competition, and then they're going to be playing Sundowns. So it's more like a hectic for Stelis in terms of the play, but for me, also the momentum, because when they play more games, that's where they look at themselves in terms of the quality they have, things that they can fix before they go to Sundowns. But obviously, Sundowns would be waiting to say, they're coming to us, they are tired, let's go with them. So I think the most important thing is for Stelis to give a good account of themselves in the first leg against Sundowns at Lucas Morepe, because Sundowns is going to be traveling to them. To Sundowns, we say away game, but Stelis will be using Moses Mapida. Yeah. Sundowns will be having more support in Durban. So I think for Stelis, it's a little bit difficult, but for me, the momentum in terms of the workload of games that they do have, it can maybe give energy to the players.
Last week, you and I discussed Stelis playing in Durban as maybe a disadvantage. You're saying that again. An advantage for Sundowns, disadvantage for Stelis. Yep. But the fact that the Champions League, or rather Confederations Cup game, is also in Durban, does that not help Stelis acclimatize and stay there longer and play better maybe? Playing a long way away from home.
It's exactly what I'm saying in terms of the momentum. At least they would be playing more games. Yeah. They will be playing in the same stadium that they're using for CAF, which is Moses Mapida. Yeah. So yes, when Sundowns comes there, it will be a little bit different because Sundowns will be having more support. You know, people that will be cheering Sundowns will be better than people that will be there for Stelis. You know, so I think that's where a little bit tricky, because Stelis will know better about the venue they're going to be playing because they've utilized it before. And then Sundowns will be coming there with the support of the people that will be coming to watch them. So yeah, it's going to be a great game.
When you talk depth, the Sundowns are had as well. But the Stelis, it's the first time in this sort of situation where they're playing locally and abroad. Do they have enough depth for this sort of situation?
It's a problem because if you look at Stelis, how many players have left Stelis? You know, even their captain now, Dino van Rooyen, joining Pirates. So you look at what's going to happen for Stelis because, yes, they've got more games to look at in terms of let's see how we stand, but also how many players did they rope in to help in that situation? Because how do they get out of this when quality players, Ikram Reina's leaving also. So for me, let's see how it goes. But yeah, I think on this one, if I have to do a prediction, I think Sundowns will be the one to go through to the final.
Now, in talking depth, let's talk Pirates and Cape Town City. Pirates, they're in the same scenario. Of course, having to balance the CAF travels and the MTN8. But Pirates, has depth been an issue at Orlando Pirates when it comes to this sort of situation?
I think for me, in terms of Pirates, being in the same situation with Stelis, for Pirates, they've got a lot of depth, you know. And the way they've roped in quality players, because I think they were looking at a number of games that would be loaded to them, you know, being in the CAF Champions League and also going for the MTN8. So that's where you will look at Pirates and say, what is it that they've got in store in terms of players that will make them go through? So I think for Cape Town City, they mustn't just relax and say, we're going to catch Pirates when they are tired from the Champions League and then beat them in the first leg. You know, but for Pirates to go to Cape Town, let's hope they do bring something that is stability, but I do believe they do have that because their depth is something which they do have.
From a Cape Town City point of view, they have to be looking at an advantage though. They have to be looking at something to get out of the Cape Town leg of the tie. What will that be?
That's where Cape Town City will have it difficult. You know, if they don't get a result in the first leg in Cape Town, when they come to second leg, which is going to be like at Orlando Stadium, it's going to be difficult. So for Cape Town City, they are under pressure in the first game. They need to make sure they beat Pirates in the first leg for them to have that confidence of saying, maybe if we beat Pirates, we're going to just go back, go to Orlando Stadium, sit back and make sure we just shut the back door. But it's not going to be easy. You know, for Pirates, having so much quality, it's going to be difficult for Cape Town City as well to go through.
Tell you what, it won't be easy on both ties. Yeah, it won't be easy both ways, but it will be entertaining. You can catch the action right here on SABC Sports. So, time to move on with the show here. And on the other side of this, we come back with Mtokozi Sitube. We talk all things transfer related. Welcome back as we, continue on GameON. This time talking about all things with regards to the transfer window, which stays open until the 20th of September, meaning there'll be plenty of moving this way and that between now and then. So we have the absolute joy of introducing Mtokozi Sitube from Far Post to talk all things transfer related. And Mto, thank you so much for your time. Let's talk about some of the transfers that may be in the works right now that people aren't aware of.
Yeah, look, I think we've seen quite a number of teams making moves in the transfer market to strengthen ahead of the new season.
Sure.
Of course, you still have a number of players that are still, unattached, who could still move between now and the 20th of September. Off the top of my head, I can think of Semi Siabi, Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yes.
He was on loan. He spent some time at Skokune on loan. Currently training alone, not part of the entire Sundowns team. They extended his contract by a year. So still obviously looking. There is interest from a number of teams, but nothing solid as yet. I know Chippa United are looking at him. So that's one of them. And then you look at a Kick and Dolly still, lacking. SuperSport had a look at him, but they decided they would not sign him. So he's still obviously looking for something. Kemit Erasmus as well.
Yeah, that's another one.
Another very experienced player that could add value elsewhere as a striker. John Committee is at Cape Town City saying he's a player that they would consider, but I'm not too sure now because they've just signed another striker. So it will be interesting to see how those
So when you say unattached, for those at home that don't understand, it means it's the players that currently aren't with a contract with any team, out of contract, right? Am I right in saying so?
Yeah, Keegan Dolly's contract ended with Kaizer Chiefs in June.
Yeah.
They didn't renew. They parted ways, so he's free to join any club of his choice.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Kemit Erasmus. Orlando Pirates contract ended. Same thing with Richard Ofori, the Ghanaian goalkeeper as well. There was talk Simba in Tanzania were interested in him, but deal fell through. They signed another goalkeeper, Coach Fadli Davids, signing another goalkeeper from Guinea.
Yeah.
I think with Semi Siabi, he's still a Sundowns player, but he's not training with the
main team.
The main team, so they're very much open to having them move. There is within Sundowns as well. There are players that the club is looking to move in terms of loan. Sipombule is one of them. He's not gotten a lot of game time. Temikosi Lochi was mentioned as well that he could be a player that they could move. Yes, he was offered to some teams in the PSL, but there's not been
offered to teams or offered on loan?
A loan,
yeah,
on a loan team. But I think the challenge is obviously the wages. If you're gonna take that kind of player, then you obviously have to fork out whatever it is that is earning or somewhere around that region. Tatiana Ditloko at Kaizer Chiefs as well. There's been talk, Stellenbosch interested, but also I think could be the same issue. And I think the challenge at Kaizer Chiefs now is, a new coach has come in and assessed the squad and he said, look, I need to fill in a number of positions, but the challenge is you can't get those players locally, but they already have 6 foreigners now. I mean, with the signing of Miguel Inacio from Angola, it means they have 6 foreign nationals. They obviously need to do away with one so that they can, at least be able to meet their foreign quota. But still, there is a number of players that they're looking at. I mean, I know for sure there's a player called Faisal Salum who plays for Azam FC in Tanzania, top midfielder. Scored 19 goals for Azam last season. He's a player who interests, Kaizer Chiefs has worked with Nasreddin Nabi at Young Africans before. So, but they would have to obviously then create that space for foreign to be able to make that.
Up to this point, what transfers have been your most interesting so far in this off-season?
Look, there's been a number of interesting transfers.
Give me 2 or 3 that have really where you thought, I didn't see that coming.
Look, I didn't see Kobamelo Kodisang joining Mamelodi Sundowns.
Okay, yes,
for this reason, I mean, he's playing in Portugal. He's played his first season in the top flight in Portugal. Sundowns have a number of players in that position. Lesibanku, plays the same position. Tapelo Masego on that wing. I'm looking and thinking, okay, do they really need him? I don't think so. I also look at the signing of Ikram Reyners. I think it was also a shock because Stellenbosch have been saying that, no, we are going to CAF. We don't want to sell our players. We want to keep the core of our squad. And I mean, Ikram was key, scoring 16 goals for them last season. So that's another signing that
We'll leave it at that, and those are very interesting points you have brought up. So there you have it. And as far as what's happening in the transfer window, we are out of time. So it's time to thank you, Mto, for taking the time to join us, and looking forward to speaking to you in the near future.
Thank you.
Sure. As you know, Hollywoodbets does their bit throughout the country in ensuring they give back to the beautifully South African game. Have been busy of late in the Limpopo province with the Limpopo playoffs. So let's find out more about that.
The province of Limpopo took center stage as the Hollywoodbets Regional League playoffs headed to the Mapodile Stadium with 2 spots in the ABC Motsepe League up for grabs. Football in the region continues to grow at a rapid rate, and Hollywoodbets continues to play its part in making a difference while the spirit of tough competition is well and truly alive in the Limpopo province.
I'm very proud. We could see even the audience here, the spectators. Everyone has come all out from their own respective regions to support their own teams. And you could see this young generation yet to come. They will learn from this, and we want the football to be the winner because this is the #1 federation that we have in the country. And we are very proud of Hollywood, the way they sponsored this league and the proud back they are doing to the community. You could see The branding here, of course, if people see Hollywood and they know that this is our main sponsor, and now people will go all out to play because we've got a sponsor.
The Limpopo leg of the Hollywoodbets Regional League playoffs saw 5 teams from the various regions of the province battle it out in a round-robin format over 2 days. The message was clear from the coaching staff, fans and everyone in attendance. They expected football of the highest quality, and that's what they got. Each team played 4 matches and they knew they had to get the job done, but the teams that shone brightest were Royal Pirates FC and Tlotlohwe Golden Syrup. Royal Pirates did enough in their 4 matches to finish in 2nd place and earn promotion.
I'm so happy because almost time I'm waiting for that. That's why almost we play the league for Castle. We're fighting to go to Vodacom. So I'm very proud for those guys.
The celebrations were beautiful, but the ultimate celebrations were saved for the eventual champions, Tlotlohwe Golden Syrup, who proved to be the most impressive team. 2 wins on the opening day, followed by 4 points collected in the final day, including a stunning win against FC Inter, saw them crowned as the champions of the Limpopo leg of the Hollywoodbets Regional League playoffs.
Especially the high. Abakanya digurge bifite dare gila ba plara akumana injari barke tuele ikaba gara industry of football. So I was in trade they won not for the champion win. Ya footballer aside laga ega here le technical team ya ga le management what team ya wale support.
Thank you, Limpopo. The beautiful game once again lived up to expectation.
So there you have it. The Hollywoodbets continue to give back, and well, they've certainly done a lot for not only South African football, but they do a lot as well for the show, GameON. And I, Susan Mapena, would like to thank our guests during the course of the show. Thank you at home as well for taking the time to join us. Until next week, it's Click, Click, Bang.